A beloved pastor, a secret relationship, and a night that ended in tragedy. In 2019, Latoshia Daniels allegedly traveled across state lines and entered Pastor Brodes Perry's apartment, pulling the trigger and changing countless lives forever. This is the story of betrayal, heartbreak, and murder. In every murder investigation, one question guides everything. Who had the motive, the means, and the opportunity? It's the question detectives ask when the trail runs cold. It's what turns random evidence into a case and a suspect into a killer. In today's story, we're breaking down a case that seemed picture perfect on the outside. But when the truth came out, it was fueled by obsession, jealousy, and premeditated violence. This is not just a story about murder. It's about control, about rage, about what happens when fame and ego collide, and someone doesn't walk away. Let's investigate. Before her name appeared in headlines, Latoshia Daniels was known in her community as a dedicated mental health professional. A licensed clinical social worker, she ran her own practice, The Root Behavioral Health, specializing in anger management and emotional counseling. Colleagues and clients described her as intelligent, composed, and committed to helping others navigate the very struggles she would one day become known for. But beneath her professional success, Daniels carried years of personal pain. Her defense later revealed that she grew up in a challenging home environment and had endured 2 abusive marriages, experiences that left deep emotional scars. By the time she sought help from St. Mark Baptist Church in Little Rock, she was in the middle of a painful divorce, vulnerable and searching for stability. That's when she met Pastor Brodes Perry, a man she believed could guide her spiritually and emotionally. Their counseling sessions quickly blurred into something more intimate, something she would later describe as intense, controlling, and all-consuming. Before the violence, before the courtroom, before the headlines, Latoshia Daniels was a woman trying to rebuild her life. But the relationship she thought would heal her instead became the path to a devastating tragedy. To his parishioners, Pastor Brodes Perry was more than a spiritual leader. He was a rising star in the church world, charismatic, articulate, trusted. But behind the pulpit, another story was playing out, a story his congregation never saw coming. Perry built his reputation at St. Mark Baptist Church in Little Rock, Arkansas, serving as associate pastor. He oversaw ministries for couples, young adults, and new members, presenting himself as a man devoted to helping families thrive. His sermons emphasized commitment, morality, and Christian discipline. In 2018, Perry relocated to Tennessee, stepping into a prominent role as executive pastor at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church. It was a major career move, the kind of leap that suggested stability, respect, and a growing spiritual influence. At home, Perry appeared to be a devoted husband to his wife Tabitha. Together, they were seen as a model Christian couple. But according to testimony later revealed in court, Perry told a very different story behind closed doors. Latoshia Daniels said he claimed their marriage was open, even calling her and his wife sister wives. But in the courtroom, Tabitha flatly rejected that, saying she had no idea her husband was having an affair. Publicly, he preached purity. Privately, he cultivated secrecy, dominance, and manipulation. His alleged behavior, blending spiritual authority with emotional control, created a volatile dynamic, one that left Daniels feeling dependent, conflicted, and deeply betrayed. Over the course of roughly 2 years, she claims Perry told her that his wife had agreed to their arrangement. In his words, the 3 of them would live in an ethical, non-monogamous relationship, even being like sister wives. Daniels said their communication was controlled. They used a disappearing message app, and she was asked to call him yes, sir, or no, sir. She described the dynamic as emotionally intense. Perry allegedly became demanding, even requiring her to be naked in hotels and strictly managing how she traveled. By her account, when Perry ended the relationship via a disappearing text, she was devastated. In April 2019, Daniels drove from Arkansas to Perry's apartment in Collierville, Tennessee. Sources say she confronted Perry and his wife, Tabitha. What started as an argument escalated quickly. According to prosecutors, Daniels pulled out a handgun, allegedly shouting, "You broke my heart," and opened fire. Perry was struck multiple times and later died in the hospital. His wife Tabitha was also injured, but survived. The trial, held in 2025, was intense. Forensic experts confirmed that the bullets matched the gun Daniels used. Witnesses, including neighbors and emergency responders, recounted the chaotic scene. A forensic psychiatrist testified about Daniels' history of trauma and depression. Though emotionally fragile, experts stated she was aware of her actions. The defense argued that her past hardships may have contributed to her emotional state during the shooting, but prosecutors painted a picture of premeditated, calculated violence. On November 7, 2025, Latoshia Daniels was found guilty of second-degree murder for the death of Pastor Perry and criminal attempt to commit reckless endangerment for injuring his wife. She was acquitted of employing a firearm during a dangerous felony. Her sentencing is scheduled for December 17, 2025. From a forensic psychological perspective, Pastor Brodes Perry's alleged behavior exhibits classic signs of emotional manipulation and control. Reports indicate he curated the relationship with Latoshia Daniels through secrecy, strict rules, and constant monitoring, requiring disappearing message apps, controlling her travel and interactions, demanding formalized submissive address, "Yes, sir," and conditioning intimacy on compliance. Such behavior can foster emotional dependency, cognitive dissonance, and heightened vulnerability to betrayal. When Daniels later perceived abrupt abandonment via disappearing texts ending the relationship, the combination of prior control, emotional investment, and perceived betrayal may have precipitated an acute emotional crisis, impairing her judgment and triggering the violent response. While not excusing her actions, this framework helps explain how intense emotional manipulation can escalate to extreme behavioral outcomes in interpersonal conflicts. The trial captured public attention for its unusual blend of religion, romance, and violence. Many media outlets dubbed it the preacher's side chick murder trial. Beyond the courtroom, the case has sparked discussions about power dynamics, ethical non-monogamy, and emotional accountability. It's a chilling reminder of how personal relationships can spiral into life-altering tragedy. Latoshia Daniels' story is more than a headline. It's about heartbreak, perceived betrayal, and a relationship that ended in irreversible violence. As she awaits sentencing, the public continues to grapple with what really happened that night and the consequences of choices fueled by emotion. Now we want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think Pastor Perry abused his position and pushed a vulnerable woman past her breaking point? Or was Latoshia Daniels someone desperate for love who went tragically too far? And what about the pastor's wife? Do you believe she truly knew nothing, or was there more to their marriage than anyone realized? Share your thoughts below. We look at every comment. If this case intrigued you or left you thinking, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we dive into more true crime stories and complex psychological breakdowns.